to the Melanin Movements Between Families, the ultimate destination for real talk, inspiration, and celebration of melanin families. Jess Hilarious. I like her. I've never really followed her that closely, but I know she's been on the Breakfast Club recently. She's been doing her Thug Dizzle. She has her own podcast. She's obviously on Wild 'N Out. And, she always would do the Just with the Mess thing. So apparently, she and T.S. Madison, who is a transgender woman, they get into a little bit of a heated exchange because T.S. Madison is also a comedian. I don't know if you saw the video. I probably posted on, here so that you guys can see it. But there was a transgender woman saying that we as biological women do not own the patent to periods and womanhood.
We don't own it.
Now, the last time I checked, I'm not even going to go there. But just came out and said that who is going to stand up for us? What WTF you mean we don't own womanhood and menstruation? She actually spelled menstruation incorrectly, but that's besides the point. Y'all couldn't bleed if y'all tried, right?
This is over it.
So T.S. Madison, who is, like I said, a trans woman comedian, she was not very happy about Jess's oration about what goes on with us bleeding. Now, said that they believe and they can gatekeep periods. And she said mensuration. Yeah, mensuration. Cis women are often transphobic due to the audacity and arrogance that they have, believing that they can gatekeep periods and mensuration. So there's some people that commented on this, and I just want to say this, and then y'all could go ahead. But one person said, "It doesn't seem to me trans women are the ones who are angry. Your rage and deliberate cruelty, your ignorance of both gender ideology and social construct is mind-boggling." One other person said, "There's a lot of anger, fear, arrogance, and insecurity going on here. Jess, there are trans people who experience menstruation. Trans men, trans masculine folks, non-binary folks, and even people assigned male at birth who are intersex come to mind." Another person said, "Thank you, Jess. This is getting so MF weird. Mental health issues are definitely delusional AF. We are the gatekeepers. They mama pushed her out. I wonder what the mom there thinks about this case. She definitely came from a woman. It's funny how trans men never caused this much chaos for men. Trans women still be having that male takeover spirit." That's what we was talking about in the last time we was talking about it. One person said, "Jess, thank you for having the courage to speak up for biological women." And then the next person said, "This the same ninja that said, what are cis women going to do when trans women can get a uterus transplant? This person is mentally unstable."
It's just more the fact that I'm just so tired of this conversation. Like I'm legit tired of it, because it's like, it's just, okay, we just gonna have to agree to disagree when it comes to things, because it's like, you think we're you think we're trying to sit there and put this notion out that we're the gatekeepers and everything. Is honestly because we are the gatekeepers. Unless you wanted, I know I just had my period last week, and I know if you a trans woman, you can't get a period. You're gonna have to deal with it just as much as you want us to go against your gender. How are we changing the definitions of words? How are we changing biology? How we're changing all of that just to fit a narrative because you feel insecure in yourself? Like I said before, you so much people are trying to be us, but disrespecting us at the same time. Like, make it make sense. So
You
I'm
can't make
over
it
the
make sense because it
conversation.
doesn't make sense.
Huh?
You can't make it make sense because it doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
And to be completely honest, I'm over this conversation and I'm tired of it. Now, I want to preface my comments by saying I love everybody, all people, all shades, all types. But I still got to tell folks when foolishness is foolishness, and this is just foolishness. Now, let's get down to business here. What the hell is this woman talking about? All right, look, man, you can't have a period. I'm sorry. All right, you can go back to doing what trans women used to do back in the day, mixing water with strawberry jelly and putting in your underwear. If that makes you feel good, go ahead and do that. Makes no sense. It is never going to actually come out of you. All right, I'm sorry to tell you that, but you just can't get around things like DNA, biology, niggas. So now, I'm tired of it, and it just makes no sense because these niggas get away with everything. Can't say nothing about anybody. Can't do anything because somehow, some way, even when you're not wrong, you're wrong anyway. Because somehow these niggas get offended. They're wrong, but end up offended anyway. I don't understand it. It is what it is. Now, if we're talking about a trans woman who hasn't had a gender reassignment surgery, nigga, what are you talking about? You still got a dingaling, so you definitely ain't having no period. Now, if you have had gender reassignment surgery, unfortunately, you sliced your dingling up and made flaps. Outside of whatever bleeding you were doing during surgery, it's not going to happen for you. Now, let's actually talk about.
Why
Huh?
make flaps though?
I'm just saying. But let's actually talk about
I
the
refuse
reality.
to identify my stuff as flaps. You ain't gonna disrespect me like that. You ain't gonna disrespect me like that.
I'm just saying. Like you created something else. Now, if you've had gender reassignment surgery, let's actually be real and because I've heard trans people talk about, oh, there's no such thing as a natural woman or a biological woman. You were doctor assigned this at birth and all this other stuff. And it's just like, nigga, you can't get around XX and XY. Somehow, some way, no matter what you look at to the beginning of time, that's always going to be what it is. You know who can get around this? Seahorses. You know why? Because seahorses are the only species where males actually have kids, and that's something out of evolution. The women go out and they want to make more eggs and those other stuff, and then somehow they implant the egg into the male, and then the male gives birth to the babies because it's a faster process because they were dying off. That's what happened. So evolution has forced that species and that species alone.
Like, how do you know these random facts?
Because I get tired of stuff like this, so it causes me to research. And when you're doing research, you just stumble upon things. Now,
you just stumble
Google
upon
it.
seahorses.
If people think I'm lying, just Google it. Before you finish typing it in Google, I'm sure it'll say seahorses giving birth. Just type in seahorses, and I'm sure one of the top 4 options is going to be seahorses giving birth.
Well, what about the one that the girl, the comment Raquel Willis said, and even people assigned male at birth who are intersex come to mind?
All right, so we need to get. Apparently, people failed biology. Now you have males and females, XX and XY. If you have something else, whether you have a little bit less of something or a little bit more, whatever it might be, that is just simply a deformity. It's not the natural way. It's something happened. Something went wrong in there. Now, unfortunately, that's what it is. But because it's like saying somebody has Down syndrome and then looking at somebody else and then trying to claim it, but they're not saying, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, there are people that are born with a 6 finger or a 6 toe.
Yeah, you're not supposed to.
I've seen that a few times. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, if you want to take some paper and attach a 6 finger to your hand, and then like, well, I've got 6 fingers. This is perfectly. It's not. All right, it's not. All right, so like, if you have gender reassignment surgery, and I've talked about this in the past, and this is for those who go this far, whatever the case may be. Because if you walking around here with the beefcake, I'm not even trying to hear you talking about nothing.
Well, most trans women have not gone through the reassignment because of the fact that it is, you've seen it.
And even if so, you have to keep something in that hole, right? When it reassignment, right?
You are 100% correct, and that is called vaginal dilation. So,
Chris, why are you weak?
I know I don't have
no,
to do
this
that.
is yeah. So after you get your surgery, they basically give you, for lack of a better way of, they call it a dilator, but for the sake of this argument, we're just going to call it a dildo because that's basically what it looks like. And when they first have the surgery, they've got to stick that thing in them multiple times a week, a month, or whatever the case may be. Why? Because if you don't, your canal starts to heal and create scar tissue. Now, you know whose canal doesn't do stuff like that? Women.
There was this episode, I think I told Kaya this, of Naked and Afraid, where they had a trans woman. Have you ever saw the show Naked and Afraid?
Never.
No, that is sitcom level hilarious. A trans
That's the
woman
type of
naked
stuff she
and-
loved watching. She loved watching these Married at
That should
First
be a
Sight.
Family
I
Guy
love
episode.
these
Making
shows.
it. She loved
Me and
watching
my man, we
those
would sit
weird
here and
shows.
have a whole marathon.
Oh
So
my
Naked and Afraid,
God.
you have to, they drop like male and female or whatever in a deserted place for 3 weeks, and you're naked, completely butt ass naked, and you have to survive on your own. You have to get your own shelter, you have to get your own food and everything. So there was a trans woman on there. So during this time, you can't take medication. When I tell you, a couple of days later, this girl had a whole beard, her voice dropped, she became Daniel after a while. And that's not even, I got the name wrong, but she definitely was. Her muscles started forming back and
She was
everything
Mordecai.
because she came in, but she left out. Look at the new season of Naked. I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna put it in this group chat. And I want a book report on this. Like Chris needed a book report, had a book report last time. I need a book report on this. And y'all all watch this. Go on Naked and Afraid. And then you tell me.
What streaming platform is that on?
Discovery Plus, and it's on HBO Max, or Max now. I'ma send the episode. I was like, I'm gonna send it and watch. Once you see this episode, y'all go get hooked on the show and y'all go watch all seasons because that's my show.
I don't know why they would ever do something like that.
But of course they blurred it out though. You can't see nothing. But her voice.
You have no business being trans and butt naked in the jungle.
And then the person, like her partner, because they meet, like they don't know each other until they like meet in the area. And he was like, "Hey," like it's
like what is going on here? You didn't know, did you?
He was like, "You know what? I love everybody," and they gave each other a hug. Because
maybe you should ask a couple of more questions at the bar.
But I think that the biggest problem is saying something to defend, not even defend, but to stand up for yourself as a biological, if they want to say real woman, you're now transphobic. And then when you literally tell somebody, no, I'm not. I'm just standing up for myself and biology. You know what I'm saying? Just because you can say something that sounds good, but you can't change, like Noey said, DNA, and you cannot change biology. If doctors can start coming and implanting uterus inside of people and they actually start to get a menstrual cycle, that would be a phenomenon within itself. And I really believe by that time, Jesus would have came already. You know what I'm saying?
because you see, they're already making synthetic chicken. So
yeah.
They making lab.
I can't speak on it. I mean, yo, man, this is after a while. I just can't understand where people in the world are going with this. I don't even understand why. Like, why you feel the need to like make it whatever it is. It's you and whoever you want to be, but it's so different from like if you walk down the street and this I guess is a couple against the community. If you walk down the street and you gay, nigga, I ain't gonna know. I ain't gonna care. Like, you know why I know? Because you chose to tell me. Because I wasn't gonna ask. You trans? You chose to tell me. Because I'm not gonna ask. Man, nobody's ever gonna know. Now, unless you like 6'8" and you got a jaw like, me, then that's different. But I mean, come on, man. Like, they just gotta get over. Like, no, everybody's transphobic. Oh, you're transphobic. You're transphobic. Why, nigga? Because I'm asking questions. Because the last nigga who walked in here talking about he is this and she is that, and he got mad personalities. That nigga's on medication in a straitjacket somewhere. But somehow for you, it's perfectly fine.
Because, quote unquote, any type of homosexuality back in the 70s was considered a mental disorder.
Yeah, to pray the gay away.
Just,
What you said?
Makes sense.
Yeah, to pray the gay away.
And they still doing that in some of these. Mike Pence was a proponent for that in Indiana.
Nice.
And I swear Mike Pence is on the low.
Like, I feel like you can be whatever it is you want to be. I'm not knocking you out. I have no issues with you. My issue with you is because you are trying to tell me, one, what I am, two, how I should address myself, three, and then you're just saying things that are factually incorrect. Like,
yeah, I'm not doctor assigned. I'm not doctor assigned. I was created in my mother's womb, from my mom and my father coming together doing a ritual. Okay? And I what? What?
I would just like to steer the conversation in a different direction. Because like most of us have already said, we've had this conversation numerous amount of times. We are not the only people that have had this conversation numerous amount of times. There have been instances where people have gotten on public TV and had national debates against scientists about the same conversation, and we're still not swayed by factual evidence, right? So I pose to you now a question of what is it that we do? Because now just conversing about the idiocy and the delusion of these, groups of people that claim to be men or women that have not been born so, clearly is not, resulting in anything positive, because all it does is root the opposition in whatever they already initially believed in, right? So this is not just a matter of gay, homosexual, transsexual. This is more so a matter of a faction of people that believe they have the power to change truth.
Like acolytes. Like they're literally acolytes. Like, this is now the new cult. You know what I mean? And they're acolytes of this cult.
The scary thing about it is they're getting results.
That's where I was getting to.
Right. So now my question to the panel here is, what is it that we do? Right? As opposed to just going on social media and arguing with the next trans or the next homosexual, but what is it that we do now, moving forward, action-wise, policy-wise, politically?
Well, and ironically, what we're about to talk about, Republicans, they are, even though a lot of them are closeted, they are knocked down. We're not going to have this. These people are trying to what?
No, I was just laughing at what you said, because I'm in full agreement with the closeted politicians.
Yeah, a lot of them are closeted, but they're like, no, you're not going to teach this to our kids. You're not going to try to change the laws. You're not going to try to do this but the left, for some reason, they are pushing this, and it's not even a gay agenda. It's a trans agenda, because you're saying that a trans woman with still all of the parts can go into the same room or same bathroom with my daughter, or you know what I'm saying, or can be in the same sorority house with my daughter, take showers in the same showers in the gym with my daughter.
I kind of think, and I haven't heard anything. I've been out of the loop with a lot of stuff, but I don't think I've ever heard any like tragic stories happen But I feel like this is one of those things that people just won't understand until something like that happens. But the result of that,
No, there was a
and
story. It was I don't remember what sorority it was, but I saw it on social media. They had it was a news clip that they had. It was actually a whole news article, and the news media came and they did a story. It was a group of sorority sisters that had trans women in the house that because they had passed a law, and the trans woman was in the house with them, and when they would be taking showers, the chick would have a hard penis. And they were just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And they had to literally go through legal channels to get this chick removed from the sorority house. This was like a couple months ago. I saw this
Even the
article.
girl in the Olympics said that when she was competing against I forgot the trans
the
the
swimming
swimmer.
chick.
She was just like, I
Leah
felt
Turner or something
so
like that, whatever her name is.
yeah,
Yeah.
she said she felt so awkward being in the dressing room with her because she just got dressed and she's just like like whoa, you know, in the dressing room.
Like,
Yeah.
what happened to the times where when we was boys in elementary school, the girls' bathroom was like the nether. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes,
that.
yes. You be
was
standing
like
there trying to get in,
the
trying to see.
untouchable zone. Like
But
you go in
now
there,
all you have to do is put on a lipstick and say you trans, and then all of a sudden now you get carte blanche access to places where only women or girls are.
Mm-hmm.
And then you sitting there with a boner. You can't try to rationalize that out of me.
Like,
No, it makes no sense. I mean, at this point, for me, it's just like, look, people ain't really gonna understand it or see anything. And I'm not even saying like you have to see anything like, so because for me, I'm not even saying I want to do anything about it. Totally, like, oh, we gotta stop these. My issues solely
I
is
do.
be
I
whatever
do.
you are. Just
nah,
don't
man.
peddle that to kids. Allow kids to grow
No,
up
it's
and be
already
whoever
And
they
happening.
want to be
that's
and
the
whatever.
thing.
Already happening.
But no, but what I'm
Because
saying,
of the
like,
fact that kids are now being involved in it, that's where I draw the line.
because a lot of people would say stuff like, "Oh, well, Minnie Mouse and Mickey Mouse, that's a heterosexual thing. That's this, that, then." It's just like, no, because nobody grew up thinking like, "Oh, Minnie and Minnie are." But once you introduce, "Oh, well, Mickey Mouse is gay, or this one is trans, or this whatever," now you're introducing sexuality to a child because it's gonna be like, "Well,
Because
what does that
they
mean?"
definitely said Bert and Ernie are a couple.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So now it creates questions, which then creates research, and then you'll have a 3-year-old kid like, "Oh, I want to be like Bert and Ernie. Those are my favorite characters. They're gay. I want to be gay too." And then to me, I feel like at some point you're just gonna water down your whole movement. But it is what it is. I mean, I don't really know how you stop that. I mean, obviously you'd have to. There's got to be some type of like FCC sanction or whatever the case may be. But inclusion is one hell of a job. So
Yeah, include and we just got the affirmative action taken by the Asian population that said they couldn't get into schools, and it was just like, look at here, we gonna take it to the Supreme Court, and if need be, people might have to take it to the Supreme Court, and because of the fact that Trump was so diligent in installing those 3 justices during his one term, I bet you that'll get passed. And a unanimous vote, or maybe not unanimous, it might be 1 or 2 that say no, but kids is where I draw the line.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't teach my kids about anything sexual or at all.
because they don't have enough life experience to understand what it is. So it's just like they're gonna run with
And
stuff,
to
and it's just
choose.
like you're running with something that you have no idea what it means or what it's about.
And because
Yeah.
of the fact when you go off of feeling, and I say this all the time, when you go off of how you feel, because I feel like this, and I feel like I'm this, and I feel like a woman. Feelings, when you go off of that, when you base life decisions off of that, you will lose every time because feelings change.
Change.
How I felt was when I was in 1996 when Pac was dead is one thing. How I felt in 2006 is a different thing. How I felt in 2016 is a different thing. How I feel now is a totally different person. Like I'm not the person I was 20 years ago.
Or even yesterday.
Yesterday. So when you base life decisions and laws based on feelings, you will lose every time.
It's
Because
weird.
some of
I
these
mean,
people are like,
no.
you know, they have a whole movement about trans regret about having the surgery. And they regret after the fact having the surgery because of the complications and, you know,
the changes in your body, all of these things. It's not
but
normal.
nobody publicizes that and showcases that.
Womanhood's not working out for you, man.
No, a lot of people, and no, seriously, a lot of people are saying they wish they never did any. They call it detransitioning. So we're detransitioning now because they realize.
Yeah, but you can't put it back. You can't put it back. Once you do that, you can't put it back.
These flaps, Noey.
Because you based lifelong decisions based on your feelings.
Yeah, because you grew up, oh, I like pink and I like ponies. Nigga, that don't make you gay. That makes you an individual that likes pink and ponies. Stop confusing your personality with your identity.
That was a bar.
That's a word.
That
was a word.
Yeah, that was a good one. That's a good one.
Makes no sense.
Again, I think this goes back to the whole awareness conversation, right? Like we're all aware of what's going on, right? But I think there has to be now a different level of urgency because it is what it is anymore. Right now, this is a fight to preserve truth, right? And if our youth now subscribing to something that a group that we've now included, a group who's now trying to force the group who included them to assimilate to what their belief is, that becomes a problem because we've included you. That just means we coexist. It does not mean we have to assimilate to what your belief system is because that's what it is. It's not truth. It's not fact. You're bringing forth the belief system that this is how you feel. This is what should be, yada, yada, yada. Right? And now they're getting results. Every TV show has some type of homosexuality in it. They're putting it in the education system now. This is no longer, it is what it is. There has to be some type of.
Well, that's what I was saying with the whole me being formed in my mother's womb. It wasn't the doctor that assigned my sex.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is the same way when you have a baby and you go and you get your ultrasounds after a certain amount of time that you're pregnant, they can tell you what the baby's sex is.
They can even tell you before then by just blood work.
That too.
Yeah, let's look at this little, everybody look at the screen. Hey, you see that little thing swinging between his legs? The boy. Look at that. There's no flap. Well, no, let me use a different word. There's no swing. The girl.
They even ask when you see when I walk my dog every day. You know how many people ask me because they can't see underneath him, is it a boy or a girl? That tells you alone.
Because you had some of them dogs that they joint be just a swinging and flapping on their legs when they be walking. I'm just like, good Lord, that's some long balls on that dog.
This is like 2 dice hanging from your mirror. Them pit bulls.
How people will look at How people will look at me if I say my dog is transgender. You will look at me like, how you gonna make them transgender?
I feel like at this point, like if I don't know, man. I'm not even trying to be funny, but I feel like I'm gonna just have to like start talking to like boys, and just like, hey, I feel like I'm this or I feel like I'm that. Like I don't want to, but it's just gonna have to be like, hey, look, just wait on it, all right? Like just That's about to be the game right there. Like, look, man, tell you right now. Nah, man.
On a social level, I think we just have too many options in America.
And listen, seeing some of these other countries and how they're very strict. You go to Dubai and they are so strict. If you yell in public, you'll get arrested.
A girl just got arrested for
what?
Yeah, in a cab. She yelled at the cab driver. Now she's in jail now in like Dubai or something like that. Yeah, she yelled at the cab driver. Now she arrested.
There's no crime in Dubai. Because their laws, I mean, it's a Muslim country. Their laws are so strict.
Who got arrested though?
A black girl. She went out there.
I thought everybody seemed mad concerned. I thought we knew this person.
No, it was a black girl. Like she was in the cab.
We all know each other.
Right. Yeah, a black girl. She was just in the cab, and I guess they got into an altercation. She yelled at the cab driver, and now she's arrested because she yelled at him.
Like, how do you have that? Like, you yelling? like,
come with us.
Like, how do you? Not even just in society though. Like,
we're too open. We're too open. We're too everything goes.
Absolutely, but I think even with familial structures, right? Men and women have a role. As a man in a household, you have a role. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not necessary. Like there are certain roles that a man has that differ from what a woman has socially.
Especially but now a lot of, and I'm a very independent woman, but I still believe in the hierarchy of the familial structure. Like I still believe that the man is the head and I'm the neck, and whichever way you turn, I can give you a crook neck if you don't act right. But I still believe that there is a structure and how family should be. But there are some women that take that role completely over. It could be because of the man is just spiny back, or she doesn't have one.
But you ask any woman that's hyper aggressive in that role. If a gunman comes in your crib and your man say, "Babe, go get him,"
he would.
Like you spend all that time at the gun range. You better
if a pipe bursts
get to work.
And your man say, "Babe, go fix that."
Or she come home from work and the dude is like, the pipe burst. You got to go and see something. Or you hear some noise in the middle of the night. Girl, you hear that? Go see what that
Wake up, go see what happened.
I'm not saying women gotta cook and clean and all of that extra stuff, but I'm saying that there are just certain inherent roles that each gender has.
But I definitely think they're trying to do away with that. Yeah, and that's why biblically it says that the man isn't meant to be alone.
Yeah, we need each other for sure. We
provided
both have right.
A companion.
We both have our own superpower. My femininity is my superpower. Your masculinity is your superpower.
And whenever you make that transition, brothers, please listen to me. Just get you some one time.
You should stop his screen and make an ad or a commercial.
Get you some apple pie before you make this decision. Okay. Just get you some apple pie before you make it.
Like I was saying,
apple pie on the mode.
The Democrats are definitely pushing the agenda because I truly believe that it's just
niggas are too free.
Yeah. But the Republicans are like the Republicans are closeted gay.
But they can't push the agenda because it goes against all their Christian beliefs and whatever the niggas.
But they are like, no,
and kill everybody, but be like, oh, we don't believe in you. Niggas, please.